Hello everyone, and welcome to another royal reading here at MadWorldTarot. And today I have the Deviant Moon Tarot on the tarot table because we're going to look at a very toxic article that appeared in Heat World magazine today. I was going to look at something else entirely for tarot purposes today, but this nasty little article popped up. Heat World is one of the go-tos for Montecito as far as I can tell. We'll chuck in an allegedly there, but I doubt very much that Kensington Palace is briefing Heat magazine. Whereas I can imagine that Montecito is, and it's titled Kate Middleton and Meghan Markle's Secret Peace Talks. And it goes on to call her Kate throughout this article. It tells us that seeing as Harry and the King are busy reconciling, then so too should Meghan and Kate Middleton, and they will have to too. They'll just have to get on with it and reconcile. All very well, but the article then spends quite a long time reminding us of exactly how many grievances Meghan has to do with Kate Middleton. The dress fitting, the who made who cry, the lip glosses trotted out, the surprise at being asked to share lip gloss, and there was another one, a terrible insult, the hugging thing that Kate, and apologies for calling her that, but that's what she's called in the article, how she sort of froze when Meghan went in for one of those full body hugs at the very moment of first meeting. So it's obviously a hit piece against Kate. Not surprising given Charlotte's appearance at the football over the weekend and the fact that she was leading the headlines all over the place. There had to be some kind of response, and I think this is one of them. I suspect there will be others. And it then reminds us that Kate doesn't trust Meghan and would want multiple witnesses at any peace talks, plus an apology. But then it ends with a zinger that, of course, Meghan is far too busy to fly to the UK for such talks. She has far more important things to be doing than flying to the UK for peace talks. And anyway, Meghan thinks it's Kate who should be extending that infamous olive branch that's forever being wagged and waved at people being threatened with that olive branch. So for me, as a human being, as a mere mortal, it was shockingly offensive, this article. I thought I was past being shocked by the level of sort of passive-aggressive viciousness that is possible from Montecito. But no, I think this one really is up there with some of the best of them. So I'm going to have a look with the Deviant Moon Tarot, and of course that is my opinion, and this is just tarot for fun and entertainment, and it is all just my opinion and it's all speculation, and I just read energy here and disclaimer in the box below. I need to get that out of the way because I'm feeling quite aggrieved by this. I'm going to do a compare and contrast with the Deviant Moon Tarot, Catherine on the left, and we keep getting swords in reverse showing themselves, which is that level of viciousness and passive-aggressive sort of toxicity. Look, see, we're having peace talks, but really I'm going to use the opportunity to pretend to have peace talks, but really just beat you around the head with my malice and my grievances. That's my take on it. It's my opinion. We're going to look at Catherine on the left, Meghan on the right. So we're going to do a compare and contrast view of each other. Impact of this, we'll call it a feud. I think it's a very one-sided feud. This disturbance, shall we say, how's it affecting them? And then willingness to actually reconcile, have talks, apologize, extend that wretched olive branch, and then outcome of this, any likelihood of any of that ever happening. I think it's quite desperate over in Montecito that this kind of vicious offering of peace is actually being presented in Heat World. One more shuffle. Let's focus on this. One more shuffle. If you've ever dealt with this kind of toxic person, I hope you haven't, but if you have, when they do get desperate and they do need to force some sort of reconciliation on you, this generally tends to be the way they go about it, with more attacks, more hate, more accusations, more name calling and character shredding. That is unfortunately my experience of this kind of personality. So my personal experience is coming into this situation. This is why I'm here, as I said a long time ago, and it's still why I'm here, really. I think I've said everything I need to say. That's the reading, that's the outcome card, and then our underlying energy is the Page of Pentacles. Peace talks. There it is. Talks, pages. Pages are all about the talking. And Pentacles is a kind of an offer. Sometimes can be read as an apology. Page of Cups, more likely, because it's more sincere in its energy. Page of Pentacles for me in this context is more about what's in it for me. And I would say me being me in Montecito, capital M with lots of E's, Meghan. What can I gain from the peace talks? And obviously things are quite tense in Montecito right now, and the future might be looking quite bleak, hence the Page of Pentacles as our underlying energy. That's how I'm reading it, and of course it is just my opinion. A situation we're dealing with. We are with the Ace of Swords in reverse. I noted that the swords in reverse that were coming out as I was shuffling, and there is another one, and it's a big one, the Ace of Swords in reverse. Now, aces are new energy, fresh starts. It's in reverse, so the likelihood of actually getting down to some peace talks, well, not really. And the suspicion and the distrust and the possible disingenuousness, is that a word, in there is for me what's coming through with that Ace of Swords in reverse. I wouldn't trust an Ace of Swords in reverse as far as I could throw that sword or stab it through someone's ribs into their heart. That's what's coming through there. For me, it's a horrible card, it's a vicious card, it's a malevolent energy, and it's not truth-telling. It's maybe telling someone's truth, but not the truth. That's how I'm reading it, and that is my opinion that I am expressing. Catherine on this side, let's give her proper name now, the Princess of Wales, and old Meghan over here on the right. So, view of Meghan. How does she feel about her? 7 of Pentacles. It's not a negative card, 7 of Pentacles. 7 years. 7 years this situation has been going, and striking that tree and gathering some, it looks like blood, but it's what's the word? I can't think of it right now. Gone blank. It's harvest. So she's looking at it and thinking she's dealing with someone who's in it for the money, in it for the gain. What can they gain out of the situation? So I think she's just quite impassive in that energy, and I'm quite pleased to see it like that, because it's just an awareness of what Meghan's all about. She's all about the money. She's been married for 7 years, and what can she get out of the situation? And I say that because of that Page of Pentacles as the underlying energy. So that's her assessment of Meghan. It's not an emotional card. It's not a reaction kind of a card. It's not even a critical card. It's objective. It's seeing. 7s are taking stock. They're quiet energy. And it's just, I see you. I know what you're up to. I know what you want. I know what you're doing. That's how it's reading for me. So the sting seems to have gone out of it. But we will see on the next card. Meghan, how does she view the Princess of Wales? And we've got the Knight of Wands in reverse. And this is a more tricky character, this Knight of Wands, and it being in reverse. It's more a kind of impetuous and erratic energy, that there is a tendency when wands are in reverse for drama and for lashing out, for losing their cool, losing their grip, and attacking. but in an impulsive way. It's almost an instinctual way, a lashing out, just wanting to lash out just because. And there is another energy in here, in that Knight of Wands, and that's Harry's energy. And Harry, of course, really loved the Princess of Wales before Meghan came along and dripped poison into his ear, and that is, in my opinion, and many people also subscribe to that theory. And so I think that a lot of the resentment, and there is resentment in that Knight of Wands, that resentment comes from the fact that Harry really liked Catherine, probably sang her praises and went to her for advice, confided in her and all of that stuff. And that has led to this kind of aggro, this animus against the Princess of Wales that I am sensing in that Knight of Wands in reverse. It's not a comfortable energy. It's not a balanced and calm energy. It's reactionary. It's a kind of knee-jerk reaction. Okay, so how has this whole situation, we won't call it a feud, how has this situation impacted the Princess of Wales? And there we get the Five of Swords, and it's in reverse. Conflict, and never-ending conflict with that Five of Swords that has it's worn her down, and that she just wants it to stop. But how do you stop conflict with someone, a Knight of Wands kind of energy, that's hell-bent on provoking? And this is provocation, this article, in my opinion. I read it as provocation. I read it as intended to wound and to put you on the spot, like Prince William has been put on the spot with this offer of Invictus, and everyone's reconciling, and where are you in this whole thing? He's been put on the spot. Now it's putting the Princess of Wales on the spot. It's this constant attrition, this war of attrition, that's exhausting. Five of Swords in reverse. I don't know how to deal with this, because it's not in my nature to do this. This is not who I am. And I'm worn down by it, beaten down by it, depleted by it. Swords can be illness as well, can be things like cancer. And that this constant conflict has worn her down and possibly opened the door to an actual illness. That's my personal interpretation of the energy. That's how I'm seeing it. And my opinion, of course. So, impact on Meghan. How's Meghan felt through this experience? We've got the Emperor in reverse. This is something that has caused her to lose control, because the Emperor is basically the boss of the tarot. This is the guy that gets things done, who engineers things, sends out marching orders, and people actually march when the Emperor says do. It's a management card. It's the boss card. And it's in reverse. So she thought she was going to gain this whole thing. So she had her plan. And I'm not putting my tinfoil hat on. I know there's some very out there theories about the Meghan Markle experience, shall we just call it. I'm not going there. I'm just talking about Meghan as Meghan and what she believed she could do when she came into the royal family. And I do believe that this card tells me that Meghan thought she could take charge of the situation, the Emperor, that she could possibly even drive a wedge between Catherine and William. And who knows where Meghan thought that would go. I think we all have our suspicions about Meghan's true goal when she entered the royal family. It's the Emperor. Emperor is the king, can be king in waiting. It's also the King Charles, who has sided with Catherine. They both got ill. Their relationship seemed to intensify, and I know there's a school of thought that thinks that Charles is terribly jealous of William and Catherine and does everything in his power to undermine them and send PR out against them and all of that stuff. Maybe there's a bit of that in his temperament. It's possible. But Meghan failed. She failed in her goal of taking charge and controlling and driving a wedge and getting both of them, William and Charles, on her side and turning them against the Princess of Wales. She failed. This is a much bigger card than that little Five of Swords in the reverse there. The Five of Swords just tells me someone who doesn't like conflict found herself eternally in a situation of conflict, and it has worn her down, and she feels like she can't win. Whatever she does, she can't win, and she's basically given up trying. This one has failed spectacularly because she came in with a plan that she tried to execute, and it has backfired spectacularly. So willingness to reconcile, to talk, to apologize, any of that stuff. How's that? And we've got the Ten of Swords here, and it's in reverse. Absolutely not dread and horror of having to do this. She already feels at some level, this is a terrible card. It is an awful card. Even holding it is awful for me energetically. So I'm going to put it away over there. And Ten of Swords is ruin and destruction and betrayal and death. It would be over my dead body. Would she do it? And she would do it over her dead body if she really had to. It's got a huge energy of sacrifice because the card is in reverse. If you really want me to, I'm already at that Ten of Swords level. If you really need me to, if this is the only way we can fix this situation, I will do it. Because the Ten of Swords in reverse has a resurrection energy. It has a coming back to life kind of a thing. After a terrible dark night of the soul, which she has been through. I'm feeling quite emotional because that card is so intense. It's so devastating. But she would do it if she was really asked to sacrifice herself for the greater good. How about Madame in Montecito on her broomstick or Bigfoot? And we got the Six. Which Six is it now? It's the Six of Cups in reverse. That's a reconciliation card, the Six of Cups, because it's reuniting with your past. It's in reverse. Not prepared to. Not prepared to. The one who would sacrifice herself is Catherine. Meghan, Six of Cups in reverse, is not going to forgive the slights of the past. The hugging. She really, and as crazy as it seems to a sane, rational person who has, you know, gone through normal development and arrived at adulthood and realized you can't always be right and you can't always feud with everyone, and you've got to knock your edges off and you've all got to try your best to get along. For a normal person, the fact that Catherine wouldn't, sort of shuddered at the thought of sharing lip gloss with Meghan Markle or having to hug Meghan Markle. Meghan Markle is never going to forgive those slights that she perceived as slights, because she thought they were going to be besties. She had decided that, Emperor, they were going to be besties. She seems to have decided that with the Montecito crew, those super wealthy women, and that seems to have worked. But Catherine is a different kind of a person. She's a reserved English woman who was very aware of her status and where she was going in life, not out of pride, but it would have been perceived by Meghan as pride. Self-protective, reserved energy that's perceived as pride. Never going to work. But let's see if they are forced into it. That's an emotional card. Meghan doesn't often show emotions. That's an emotional card of that ancient resentment that's not going to go anywhere. So, outcome. Are they going to be forced to have to... Ooh, we got the Devil. And the Devil, you know who the Devil is for me as a tarot reader. The Devil has been chained to a situation, to a toxic situation. They're going to carry on being talked about in articles like this. Their names are going to always be associated. This is always going to be brought up throughout their lives. Whenever anything happens in one of their lives, if Meghan divorces Harry and remarries, or Catherine at 95, Queen Catherine celebrates her 95th birthday, this is going to be dragged up. This ancient, not feud, situation is going to be dragged up. It's never going to end. And even if they are forced together on a balcony at some stage to wave to the crowd, everybody is going to be aware of the hostility and the resentment and the toxicity of this relationship. It's never going to go away. But one thing that I do want to say about this card, the devil isn't only the devil, it's also Capricorn major arcana. And I very seldom mention that because it's toxic energy, mostly is what I'm reading on in these royal readings anyway. But the devil is Capricorn energy, major arcana, master of the material world. And who is the master of the material world of all she surveys? Catherine. And I'm not asking who's going to win this situation, because it's not about that really. But there is just that in the energy as well that I think I need to note and to make you aware of at the end of this reading. Horrible, horrible, horrible energy in this reading. I want to go and scrub myself with Dettol after doing it. But anyway, thank you for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.